Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 711 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Josh Handt. And if you want to hear about podcasting and peptides, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I was going to say it was episode 125, but that was our first time together with Josh Handt. Today it's episode 711. He's like, don't tell me about all these topics that you want to cover, but I'm going to just let the cat out of the bag. The topics that I'm really curious about talking to him about today, we're going to go off script of what we normally do. Podcasting is a great topic. I know it's relevant today, probably more than ever in today's media outlets. Long distance running. He has some medals over his shoulders. If you guys are watching this, you'll see that there's some medals hanging over his shoulder. Looks like some shark teeth too. He just gave a talk recently on peptides. I'm going to have him kind of take the idea of what he's helping people with and explain that to you so everybody can understand this world of peptides. It's something very hot in the medical market right now. And he grew up in a chiropractic household, second generation chiropractor. He's probably the strange kid, or probably the healthy kid, honestly. And then, we'll get a little bit more granular with him about what it means to be a chiropractor and how you can plug into schools as a professional and how you should be supporting this chiropractic profession. But before we get into Josh's story, I'm going to let you know our big why. I'll go as fast as I can. First things first is freedom of speech. I believe that that's essential. I sat with this 75-year-old lady and 78-year-old gentleman a couple nights ago, and they asked me about banning TikTok. And I said, well, I believe in freedom of speech. If you listen to my show, I'll tell you all about it. So I don't believe anybody should be censored. And we know what that feels like. Actually, if you go to my feed right now, find something, click on it, comment on it, because I'm being traffic throttled at the moment. And I think that that's a big thing about why we do this show, is because it helps chiropractic's voice get outside the 4 walls of chiropractic clinics. So if you have a chiropractor in your life, please share the show. Just like you like Andy Frisella's show, 75 Hard. Mm-hmm. What is it called? Real as fuck.
Yeah, no, it's actually, it actually know what it stands for. Real American Freedom.
There you go. Yeah. Real American Freedom. Andy Frisella. Yeah. Shout out to that guy. Maybe he'll get on Chiro Hustle someday. But we do believe in medical freedom and family health freedom. They're not the same things. If you want guidance on that, find somebody in the chiropractic profession, go ask them. Just pop in, schedule an appointment, say, hey, I have some questions about my family and my health. Chiropractors are your advocates for that. Philosophically speaking, we protect BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust. If you guys want to know more about that, go to the show notes, click the link, read about BJ Palmer's last written words. It's very important to chiropractic, protect it. We support subluxation-based chiropractic. I know I shouldn't have to say these things, but they're taking it out of the schools. They're not teaching this to the kids. Once again, share the show with the chiropractor. It's been out of school for 5 years less or more. If they hadn't got what chiropractic philosophy is, share the show with them. We believe in innate intelligence, universal intelligence, and educated intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. And with that, that creates educated intelligence. And that's our philosophy talk to open up this interview with Dr. Josh Handt, coming in from New York City, right?
I practice in New York City. I live in the suburbs. So I mean, I'm a little
Okay.
outside the crazy. I love nature, man. So I couldn't live in the city.
Well, welcome back. It's only been since 2019 since we had you on
Yeah.
last.
Glad to be here, my friend. Glad to be here. Always here to support the profession.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I follow your journey pretty closely. It's amazing seeing how you've progressed since the 2019 interview. And here we are jumping into the first month of 2025. And you just recently had me on your podcast, which is a really great honor. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Will be produced very shortly.
Let's plug that show. What is it? And it's a newer show, right?
Yeah, well, so we had two shows. So we had Lifestyle Locker Radio, which was just shy of 300 episodes, and then we relaunched and rebooted and renamed. It's called the Human Powered Life Podcast. We had season 1, which had, I think, just shy of about 50 episodes, and we're relaunched as of today. It was the first episode dropped today.
So talk about podcasting. Why two? And what is the medium doing for us right now?
So I think podcasting has a lot of potential, and I think it is the potential now when it comes to transmitting information in a long format. You know, we use social media for some people are watching this maybe even on Facebook or wherever they may be watching it, but people usually go to those sources frequently for quick fixes, right? Those 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute segments. But podcasts really give the host, a guest, a conversation, the possibility to reach very far and very wide. And what I've found in my years doing this, our first show, Lifestyle Locker, was in 53 different countries. I didn't even know some of the names of the countries it was in. I mean, I have like one download, and I don't even know the name of the country somewhere in Eastern Europe. But what that meant is there was value that was given. And I listen to podcasts. I listen to audiobooks very frequently, but the country is sick and tired of traditional mainstream media, because it's on their time. It's on the media's time. Podcasts are on your time. And, you know, I could walk my dog at 4 a.m., put headphones in, and listen to a podcast, right? I can't do that if I want to be in front of a TV screen or turn on a radio. I'm just subject to whatever they're feeding me. So I get to choose what I'm eating, as far as education or information. So it's a super powerful tool for anybody.
Yeah, it's not only for the end user, the listener, the content, like
the consumer of the content.
Consumer. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's not just for them, it's for us. Like I told you,
Yeah.
like the first 15 minutes before I go live and do a show like this, I'm like, this is the best part of my day. Like I get a chance to talk to really integrity-based individuals with great knowledge and enthusiasm that are subject matter experts that can just talk about how they're changing the world, and specifically with chiropractic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even when I started my initial show in 2017, Lifestyle Locker Radio, it was part selfish because I really wanted to learn what all of these experts had to say. And it was part wanting to give back to society, letting people know that there are other options besides drugs, surgery, and all of these chemical-ridden things that we have being injected into our life, no pun intended, but from every different angle. So,
yeah. Plus it gives us a different ability to follow the narrative that real producers make. And I think that there's a difference between being a captured, I guess, media outlet and somebody that's just like in love with a certain topic and they talk about it. It doesn't matter what you're interested in. Like if you go and you have an interest, I think there's 3,300,000 some podcasts globally right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's one of the fastest growing mediums out there. So really cool, man. It's cool to host you today. It's cool to have you on, 6 years ago. And it's great to be on your show too. So podcasting, I think if people want to learn more about what you're doing on your show, where do we send those guys to for your show?
You can send them over, they go to lifestylelocker.com. And the links are there for both podcasts, but I'm on everywhere podcasts are found: Spotify, iTunes, you name it.
See, that's one of my pet peeves about podcasting too, is you have to wait till the last 30 seconds to find out how to find somebody's stuff.
True.
Like,
True.
Like you're like, if I really want to work with this person, I'm just going to listen to the last minute of this interview.
That's true. That's true. I may be guilty of that.
Everybody is. Everybody
Yeah.
is. It's just a form thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about some hobbies, man. I know that you're one of those guys that runs for 30 miles at a time, 60 miles at a time.
Mhm.
Talk about that life, man, because I think that that's a really interesting part of your dynamic as your character.
Yeah, the funny thing is I often get the question, like, you must have been running, you must be a runner for your whole life. And I could tell you there's a hard no. I'm 45. When I started running in 27, I mean, I ran like 5Ks and this and that, that just to like, a turkey trot or whatever maybe, but never really would consider myself a runner. I ran maybe in 2015 or something. I wanted to get to New York City Marathon, so I started running like 5Ks and 10Ks. Fizzled out, got into CrossFit, and in 2017, I had this bright idea that I wanted to run a marathon just to knock it out of the park. I'm like, you know what? It'll be off my checklist. So I registered for the hardest at the time trail marathon in the Northeast called the North Face Endurance Challenge, which no longer exists. It's at Bear Mountain, and it was on Cinco de Mayo. And I just want to paint this picture for you. Trail marathons are very cool. Obviously, you're a hiker, so you have this vivid picture of nature, how beautiful it is, and how rugged it can be. Bear Mountain's very technical. It's very rocky. And May in New York tends to be very nice, usually. It was about, I think it was just shy of 40 degrees, and there was a nor'easter. So let's say 39 degrees and rained 3 inches during the race. So I ended up finishing this marathon, to make a long story very short, and had pre-hypothermia. Maybe I can guess hypothermia. I don't know. And I finished the race. My wife's like, thank God you're done. You're done. Like, running is over. And I said, I think I could do more. And she knew that she was in trouble at that point. She had to help me take my socks off. And it was so bad. I couldn't even hold. They give you food and a beer and water and other things. I couldn't even hold. My hands didn't work. They were so swollen. It took me hours to warm up. And fast forward, there must have been something that day that was going, hey, you could do more. And the tagline of Lifestyle Lark Radio and that whole company is unleashing your human potential. And for me, I realized that I was scratching the surface on something that was so deep and so powerful inside of me that I may have just been standing on the sidelines most of my life, even though I was a great athlete most of my life. But I didn't realize that I was not really pushing myself to get that much better. So the following year, I did a 50K, which is 30 miles, and I've run upwards of 100 miles. I've failed at races as well. I've run 22 miles so I ran my first 100-mile attempt. I ran 30 miles. In those first 30 miles, I mean, I felt great for the first 18, like cruising, no issue, like I was a walk in the park. I ended up spraining my knee, get 2 broken toes, and I ran 22 miles that way with broken toes and a sprained knee. And when I'm coming through this checkpoint, I don't even remember what time it was, in the evening at some point, headlamps on, and the race director said, hey man, when you're running, headlamps are supposed to be going up and down as you run, not like a sailboat in a storm. Because I was hobbling and this whole time. And I ended up having to tap out because one of my good friends, John, said, is an Air Force, I think, medic, or he's a trainer for college. He said, hey, listen, you can take the injury or you can have a disability for the rest of your life. What do you want? So I took the injury, tapped out, and learned another lesson. Running is like the biggest gift for me in learning. I learned so much lessons about myself, and I could talk forever, but if you want to point me in a direction, running is a good equalizer in the sense that, I could be running next to a man that's 400 pounds, and I can be running next to a woman that's 98 pounds. I can be running next to somebody who's 75, and I can be running next to someone who's 18. And everybody is there for the same reason. You could have voted for this or voted for that politician, but you were all there and connected for one purpose, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, it's a way to build a community.
Yeah.
And it's a way to be a part of something that's it's important, because I think you do live your brand.
I 100% will live. I'm one of those people, and I say this a lot. I like to practice what I preach. I don't even like to. I just do it. That's just who I am. It's my identity. I'm not some crazy runner. I'm just like, I like to run. I love nature. I love to challenge myself, whether it's, I have a gym behind this wall here, whether I'm on one of these arced treadmills, lifting weights, doing whatever it is. I'd like to push myself to the point where I know I'm making myself better. But to your point with Andy Frisella earlier, knowing you've done Hard 75, yeah, I just finished this past year. I finished the Live Hard program, so I did the whole year. And there's a lot to say about doing good for yourself first. You're not the last person you should take care of. You're the first person you should take care of. And over the past year, I'm like, holy cow, I've been doing it, but this was a whole other level. And it gave me a lot more respect for the important things in life, family, friends, the profession. I people are like, how do you do so much? Or why do you do so much? I go, why not? I'm either going to sit on my ass and watch TV and do nothing, or I'm going to spend time learning. I'm going to spend time having a conversation with you here. I'm going to spend time exercising. I'm going to do things that matter to move the needle forward in my life, but in other people's lives, because I'm reading a book now, and I don't have it in this room with me. It's a Zig Ziglar book. And I'm pretty sure you know who Zig Ziglar is, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
And he goes, you build your wealth, whether it's financial wealth, mental wealth, whatever it may be, by helping others achieve what they're looking for. Right.
I think the quote's this: if you give people what they want, you'll never have to ask for anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Similar to that.
Yeah. And that's where I am in my life with everything.
So do you think that you're healthier now at 45 than you were at 35?
I'd say I'm definitely smarter. I would say I'm definitely, I've taken a lot of health leaps since I started the podcast. I thought I was doing really good, and then I learned, 8 million things from so many smart people that I tested so much. I was a guinea pig for everything.
It's osmosis of education.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I feel like I got a degree.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like podcasting are like dog years.
Yeah.
Like you do podcasts for a year. It's like 7 years of like service.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Probably the same way as long distance running.
Well, it is. But so here's the thing. The cool thing with long distance running, and I want to touch on this, not that everybody has to do this. Everybody's going to have their own version of this. The best way for a person to break through, or the easiest way, we talk about meditation. We've listened to Dave Asprey and, Joe Dispenza and all these amazing people. Some people have to meditate for years and years to start to get these profound effects, which I think is awesome. I've been a meditator for many years. Putting your body through some physical, purposeful, right? I'm not saying like go like stick your hand on the stove and burn yourself, but doing something that is incredibly physically hard changes your internal physiology. When your internal physiology is ready to quit and break down into, hey, stop, you're doing too much, and you just go a little bit further, that's where the psychology changes. When the psychology changes, you change. So running for me is a place that I can get to a transcendental state. I can break through. I can do 40 years of meditation in a 100-mile run. I could do 40 years of meditation in a 50-mile run, because I'm breaking through the shells of my personal discomfort. And then I'm doing myself. Nobody is doing it to me. I'm not saying go get hurt by somebody. This is an intentional thing.
So I have two comments and then one follow-up question.
Sure.
You're talking about you stay busy, you like enjoy, doing things for your body and mind and the experience of life. Noted, I haven't owned a TV for 13 or 14 years. Pretty interesting. And I meditate. You also mentioned meditation. I've been meditating every day for the past 6 years. So I think when you start to correlate some of these things and you start to think like what gets people this breakthrough idea of like becoming wise or getting wisdom or becoming more smart, like you said, it takes a lot of things. And that kind of leads me into this next part of the interview with you is what this isn't, by the way, none of this is really scripted. I'm just curious because you mentioned 75 hard life. That's like a complete year of this program. I've done 75 hard like 5 times.
Okay.
So when somebody goes through and does like the year of it, I was like 1 month away from doing it. And I had, what do you call it when you don't complete a race?
Huh?
What? No, you said you have coins that are they give
Oh,
you and you
DNF.
did
Did
not
not
finish.
finish. Yeah.
So I had a year of the last. I did phase 1, phase 2, and the
Mm,
first 75 days, but I didn't finish phase 3.
mm,
So I DNF'd
yeah.
on the year of the hard life.
Yeah.
What was your biggest lesson that you learned from completing that program?
There's a lot. I mean, there's so many. I wouldn't know. Couldn't put up the pulse on or my finger on one thing. I would say personally that I realized with myself that I work very well with checklists, with little things. And it doesn't mean that that's my whole day, but if I know if now I prepare myself every evening usually, or even every week for what the day looks like beyond. And when I start to check those things and check the hard things first, if I can, I just feel it's an easier psychological win for me. So the mundane is all worth it and it's easier.
Well, I'll just tell you, like, I love the answer because I think like people should do things that challenge them.
Hmm.
Um, it didn't grind. Did it grind you down and like wear you down?
I'll tell you when I first started. So I started January 1, 2024 is when I started. And I was so amped up. I was like, I'm going to start this thing. I'm going to do it.
I know the
Um,
feeling.
all right, like waking up that first day for me because it was whatever day it was. I believe it was a work day for me. I had to get up at 4 a.m. I had to do a workout. I had to journal. I had to do all of the stuff that and
And
read,
then go be a doctor.
and then go to work, and then come home, kiss my wife hello, go to the gym, work out for another 45 minutes, shower, all these things. So in the beginning, I was like, yeah, king of the world. I felt amazing, energetic. I love taking pictures of myself as the weeks went on, right? Like, wow, I'm changing. This is how cool is this? The physical part of this is also really neat. I will say though, usually for me, and all of the phases, after about week 2, the excitement it wasn't exciting to wake up at 4 a.m.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Kytronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, let's hustle. What was the part that grinded on you the most as you went through those days though? Because for me, I would like take a cold shower at like 11:59 or 11:50 like PM sometimes, like right before midnight. And it was like, why am I taking a cold shower for 5 minutes at freaking 11:50 PM right now?
Oh,
Like,
I hate to this day the cold water. I love doing it, but there's never been a time because I don't have a cold plunge. I have about a 300-foot well at my house, so my water comes out at between 49 and 53 degrees. So when that hits you and I'm doing this, so I wake up and exercise when my wife's sleeping. So 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. I get back and take a shower, and I can't scream. Right? I can't scream in the shower, so I have to like bite my lip and then just be miserable for 5 minutes.
psychologically that just changes us. Like if you guys are ever out there and you see a guy that has like Iron Man on his like badge or her badge, or completed like a long distance run like what you do, or somebody that's like says, hey, I've done 75 hard complete for a year, like you just don't want to mess with that person. They're just psychologically a little bit on the far end of the spectrum.
Yeah, they're mentally a little bit tougher for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing too, is it didn't so much grind me down, it ground down everyone around me, because I was such a beast and I was relentless and I checked the box every day. It didn't matter if people were happy around me. It didn't matter if people were happy that I was doing what I was doing. Like nothing else really like other people's comfort didn't even like matter to me that other people are comfortable anymore. Like, I'm like, everybody should be doing this, and you should be more driven. And don't tell me to take days off. Like, you should get more ambitious. Like, it really caused like this rift of like comfort around me, where there are a lot of people that are in that zone where they're just like comfortable, they're coasting, they're floating, and they see a guy like me or you, and they're like, when did you wake up? When did you go to sleep?
Yeah.
How many times did you work out? Like, what? You drank a gallon of water too? How did you do that and work a full shift as a doctor?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll say this, and I have to, this is me like admitting that I was I became very judgmental, and I had to realize that as well.
It grinds down people around you.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I would see people, because I would make food choices clearly that were better for me. I finished this year, and we have Hanukkah and Christmas and these different traditions in our families that we do.
Eat the treats, bro.
And we always have. But not even that, just sitting down for like a Christmas Eve dinner with my family, or it was like Hanukkah, Christmas, and it's been my grandmother's lasagna that we had every year. Clearly, I wasn't eating pasta. I wasn't eating any grain. I wasn't eating these things. So everybody's like, well, what are you going to do? I go, this meat sauce. I put zucchini, like roasted zucchini, and put meat sauce on it. Very happy, very happy. And it wasn't hard. By the time it
changes people around you.
Yeah, the perspective of going, if you can do that, I wonder if I can do it.
What type of animal are you?
Yeah.
It does. It makes people super curious about people that decide to do something ambitious but committed.
Yeah. And there's have you heard of James Stockdale?
Is he he's the Iron Cowboy?
No. So James Stockdale is not alive anymore. He was one of the first pilots into Vietnam, and crashed, or however it shot down, and was in the Hanoi Hilton in the prisoner of war camp for 7 years. Survived where others did not. And he talks, they made this thing up called the Stockdale moment, because when he came out, he said, people were in there and were dying. They were in there for shorter periods of time, but they were always like, I'll get out at Christmas. I'll get out at the New Year. I'll get out at this thing. And when that didn't happen, they gave up on life. So he looked at that 7 years of so-called hard time, and realized that was one of the most defining moments of his life, and he could be better. So we all have these little moments in our lives, these little Stockdale moments, and all my running, the stuff behind me, these are little mini Stockdale moments of challenging times, because in my lifetime, I probably will never be in a prisoner of war camp. I, God forbid, hope I'm not. I will not, have these hard times. I had a very easy life, right? And I think many of us that are listening to this right now have had easier lives. So creating your own hard will make you better. Doing the hard things will make you better. And that's really powerful, whether it's in business, like if you, as a chiropractor, if you're starting out, or you may be practicing for 35 years, talking to people about chiropractic, I freaking love it. And I probably should do more of it than I already am doing. But that little getting out of your comfort zone, just to bring the conversation in, no matter where you are, in a good way, it's maybe scary for you. Do it, because you're going to come out of that conversation going like, man, I feel amazing, and you may have just changed someone's life, or their trajectory of their life. And you don't know that.
Yep. I always tell people the world is looking for chiropractic. They just don't know it's called chiropractic. And for a long time, I'm like, it's a lifestyle. It is, but it's also, it's an addition to quality of long-term life. And I know that that's a big thing of like, why, there's cliches, gives years to your life to your years, remove the subluxation, adds more light to the body. There's these things that chiropractors, we know. And I think that's the thing is I opened up talking to you today, which I don't want to spend too much time because we only got so much time left of today's conversation. But when is like one of the biggest podcasters in the world, like Joe Rogan, going to come back around to that chiropractic is the amazingest, most amazing elephant in the room that he's not talking about.
Yeah. He, like we were saying earlier, I think he potentially had a bad interaction and just never went back. And my thought of that is like, hey, if he went to a bad dentist, would he ever go to another dentist? Of course he would. But people don't have that perception or understanding with chiropractic because you're not going to resonate with everybody. Nobody does, right? It's just human nature. So I think he needs to have a good positive experience, and then it'll change the trajectory of chiropractic based on just his exposure to the world.
Yeah, it just takes one amazing message from one amazing human that's done something really amazing. Like Andy Frisella, starts a 75 hard program. He creates this group of people that go out there and prove to themselves that they can complete this checklist on an app. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's a proving to yourself that you can do something. And anyways, the next big thing I'm really curious to talk to you about is peptides. I know it's something that you've done a workshop on recently, and it's something that I know nothing about except for the fact that I see people getting lean on it. I see them building muscle on it, and I see their quality of life improving on it. So give us like a snapshot of what this whole peptide movement thing is.
Yeah. So peptides, they're I'll keep it light, and then I can always send people over. I have the webinar, if you will, recorded. The peptides are short chain amino acids. These little, usually 2 to 20 segments of amino acids long. Okay, what in the world does that mean? Don't worry about it. They're just they're short chain amino acids, and they help perform processes in the body. So just give you an example, you have things like hormone regulation, immune system function, cell signaling, metabolic regulation, tissue growth and repair, antioxidant defense, reproductive functions, cardiovascular health. We can go on and on and on. Neuroprotective and cognitive functions, right? Lots of really cool things. And you mentioned metabolic, so we can also mention muscle growth and performance. So they have a lot of different functions, and there are two right now that we know, two different types of peptides. I don't mean one that's made for building muscle or burning fat, but they're what they call therapeutic peptides. And then what I utilize is called bioactive precision peptides. I think there could be a time and a place for each. One really focuses on what's called one mechanism of action, which means, for instance, people have heard of Ozempic, right? Ozempic has one mechanism of action. It's designed to help you lose weight, but it doesn't help you necessarily only burn fat. There's a lot of downstream negative effects that could potentially happen with lots of different peptides. Not saying they all have them, but when it's a pharmaceutical grade product that's made in a lab, you never know. There's not a lot of data that does that. It doesn't help build your body's innate response to your natural peptide productions. We produce them. Just so I didn't say that, we produce these in our bodies naturally. So the therapeutic ones potentially have a lot of downstream effects. Though in emergency situations, you have someone with 700 pounds or something crazy that they got so far off the rails, they may need a short intervention with this, but needs to be overlooked by someone that's intelligent so they can take them off it so they're not breaking their body down insanely. The bioactive precision peptides, super, super cool. They have what's called multiple mechanisms of action inside there. So they're usually made from plants and animals. They're not derived, by a pharmaceutical company. And well, the original ones that I mentioned, the therapeutics, are injected for the most part, right? Needle injected, have to be measured, and all of these things. The bioactive precision peptides are actually taken internally orally, right? So I have them right here. This is one called Fit that we use. And then there are capsules as well. And they have multiple mechanisms of action, meaning they help with the cofactors and all the things that happen, that innate process to help build your peptides. They just enhance that function. So think of, I'm trying to maybe give you a good example. If your body's burning fat, wants to burn fat, lots of things have to happen inside your body to burn fat. So all of those processes, this thing's called GLP-1 agonists. There are different peptides. There are different processes and cofactors that go into this. So the bioactive precision peptides go, you know what? If that's a fire, that burning the fat is a fire, it's gonna be like, you know what? Let's naturally give a little extra, maybe like lighter fluid or gasoline. to help it, not to take over the processes. So when you take yourself off of it, there may be some really negative downstream effects because your body may not remember how to utilize it. It just enhances that innate function of doing what it's designed to do. And the way these things have come about, without me messing the wording up here, the company that I utilize my practice at home, online, they use AI, and they've done a lot of scouring of research, and they've identified all of these bioactive precision peptides. And what they've done is they've done it with human trials. So they're to help people. They've had 4 products now that they're utilizing. And there's a total of 6 4 of them are the peptides. But what they're finding out is the results are insane. For instance, one called Lean, when people are losing weight, that's the one that helps your body break down fat, reduce your an appetite suppressant a little bit. What it does, which is really, really cool, when people are losing, it's 100% from fat, where things like the therapeutic, you lose muscle mass, bone density, all of these other pieces get lost. So this is 100% from fat, and 60% of it is from the midsection. They call the trunk section. And that's why you've probably seen stuff. I know we have friends that are utilizing these that we both know that are changing in a matter of 4 weeks, 6 weeks. It's going, holy crap, what's going on? This is insane. So I got on the bandwagon very early, just because it was introduced to me by another chiropractor, but also in the nutrition world. And I absolutely love it. I can go deeper into these things, but I think if people want, it's a 22-minute webinar. I can gladly share the link with you if you want to share it with your people, your tribe. But they are very, very powerful. And the downstream effects are not negative. They're only positive. Longevity is the focus of the company, and wellness, right? So it's super cool.
Yeah, I feel like I learned some stuff there. I got my only follow-up question is how long do people stay on to this type of therapeutic peptide, and is there like an off-ramping, and do people go back to where they were before they started, using the peptide product?
Good question. So
is this sustainable?
Yeah, good question. So therapeutic, they're the injectables, not
Okay,
something that I want to deal with. No, it's okay. I just want to just clarify it in people's minds. So the therapeutic ones, that's why what happens with those is when people come off like an Ozempic, because they didn't have to do any work,
they get sick.
They end up regaining weight. It's like the people that get their
But now they're weak.
They're weak. Their bone density's off. Their everything is, they call it Ozempic phase, right?
Yeah. So
the bioactive precision peptides, you wouldn't want to be on, let's say, that one Lean forever, because you don't need, someone that's 110, 115 pound female probably doesn't need to lose weight, right? Depending on how tall they are. You wouldn't be taking it for that. But one thing that we all utilize for our whole life is muscle, and the metabolic function of muscle as we age is super powerful. I mean, you do remember the commercial. I know, I think we're similar in age. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not because they maybe hurt themselves. It's help, I've fallen. I have no muscle left in my body because it's so deconditioned that you can't get up.
Oh, yeah.
So, right. So certain peptides, the bioactive precision peptides, you could probably use for a lifetime. I'm just over a month and a half in right now. Personally, my changes are pretty cool. I'll probably be posting and sharing pictures just from me. But this is the important thing to note. Taking this like a drug is not going to get you the results you want, right? Because it is not a drug. What I mean by that is if and when you choose to start these, if you have an active lifestyle, you don't have to do what I do. First and foremost, you do not have to do what I do. You have an active lifestyle, meaning you want to, and you do exercise a few times a week. And it doesn't need to be crazy, but you should be doing something. You eat pretty well, or decently, doesn't need to be perfect. You drink a good amount of water, usually half your body weight in ounces or a little more. I'm with Jim, we do a gallon a day, right? Or more. And you get good sleep, or you focus on getting good sleep. Those are some foundational, and I think the biggest biohack in the world is getting adjusted. So I will say that. But if you're doing those healthy things, these supplements, if you will, the nutraceuticals will work amazing, absolutely amazing. So could you be on them for a lifetime? Certain ones potentially. The company's only has 4 right now that are bioactive precision peptides, but the new research that's out there, they found 7,000 active peptides, I believe, in the human body. Not that I don't think the company's not making 7,000 products, but I think there are over 300,000 that they just released in a research paper that they're like, oh, there's that many more. So the company's always focused on longevity. And for me, that's really, really important. It's not just like, hey, how do I get a quick outcome and be done? It's like, when am I going to stop eating greens or I shouldn't say that, but some people are carnivores. So like, I don't eat greens, but when am I going to stop having grass-fed beef? When am I going to stop having salads for myself? When am I going to stop? I'm not, because these are the fundamental things that I do to keep myself functioning the right way. So if I'm doing the good things and I start to add little things like the nutraceuticals, I'm not going to be on this lean one that I'm on. Maybe it'll be for 2 months before I'm done. But I'm burning. I want to go from 22% body fat. I want to go down to like 15. And that's more for me. I'll admit this to everybody alive here, for vanity. Do I need to be 15%? No, I'm about 20 right now. That's more for me when I want to look in the mirror. Like, cool, I feel good. I've done some really cool stuff. But my real focus is longevity and performance. I want to be able to run. I want to be able to lift weights, play with my nephews that are 5 and 7 now. I want to be able to hang out with them and do crazy things with them when I'm 60, that they're going to go, my uncle is 60 years old. And they're going to be like, what? That's where I want to be. So, people talk about living a long time, and I truly believe I will. And I want every positive thing I could put into my body or do with my body. I want to do it while I'm young. So the results, right? Don't things show up downstream in life, right? The results of our habits today are like, okay, we're going to see them 60 days from now or 90 days from now. They're not happening tomorrow. And that's like that's why people quit. That's why people quit hard 75 or 75 hard, because they'll do once and be like, I did, I'm done. It was a goal. It's not the identity of creating. That's who you are going to be. If that makes sense. Sorry, long-winded answer.
No, I think it's important for you to explain the cycle. And I think it's important for people to understand the on-road and the off-road and the runway for things and the how to understand a product that's new and understand something that's having an impact on people's lives. And I think that it's just really good to hear your take on the movement and how it's helped people.
I've only seen positive results. I've had a couple of people that have had, I can only call it digestive, like simple things, and taking supplements that can happen to most people. I've only seen a couple of weird things,
well, I know we're getting down to the edge of our time together. I know
sure,
I showed up a little late, and I could probably talk to you for another hour, but let's go lightning round. Growing up around chiropractors, what was it like?
It was my norm. I grew up in the back rooms of DE in the early 80s and New Beginnings after that. So I had titration of philosophy dripped into my brain from literally, I think it was my first DE when I was 2 weeks old in 1979. So, Sid Williams and all of the originals, if you will. And chiropractors are my friends. These are the people I associate with. These are the people that I trust, that I love. And, everybody knows I'm a chiropractor, but it was really cool growing up that way. And I initially took it for granted, but, I got to hang out and learn and listen to so many amazing people that I now wish I had more time with, that I didn't realize was going to be cut short.
Mm-hmm. Now you're that guy. What does it mean for you to be a chiropractor?
Oh man, it means I have a responsibility to humanity to teach, to educate, and to adjust people about the truth of where health really comes from.
Well, Dr. Josh, it is a really cool episode. Your episode 711 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. Thanks for being on with us today.
Grateful, Jim. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a fun medium, this whole podcast thing. We get a chance to share people's stories and messages and truths. And this one's all about chiropractic. And I've loved that since day one. It was never about making the show about me. I always wanted to just like host the smartest chiropractors in the world that were out there doing the things that people just didn't know chiropractors were doing. And that's what Hustle is all about. And why don't you have an awesome day out there in New York? And congratulations on the 75 Hard. Congratulations on the new podcast. And I'm sure people are going to be curious about Peptides. So if you guys watch this and this is on replay and you guys want to learn about his program, shoot he or I our message and we'll get back to you. I'm going to close out like I always do. You guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.